Hi everyone, Bradley here, and thank you for tuning in. We're going to talk about Japan today, and it's definitely a bucket list destination for so many of you. I know some of you who are so loyal have been waiting for me to announce this destination for a long time, and I appreciate the wait, and I know you're very excited to learn what I have offered for this journey. First of all, this is going to be a very small group departure. It's difficult to get space in Japan. It's a very, very popular destination. We're going October 7th to the 24th. And if I'm adding right, that's like 18 days. Um, so a longer journey, but definitely when you're going as far as we are, you want to spend the time there. And it's a very, very popular time of the year to go to Japan. The temperatures are very nice. The skies are generally very clear, so people enjoy that. But one of the top reasons that people flock to Japan in October is the fall colors. Of course, we have fall colors in Ontario, but in different parts of the world, they look different. And you can imagine how nice it would be to see a temple, to be taking your pictures, and the background be some beautiful fall colored trees. So very, very popular time of the year. The Japanese love the fall colors, and I there's an artist, a photographer by the name of Peter Lick, who's really quite famous. And years ago, I was in one of his galleries in Honolulu, and I was talking to the sales staff there. And when you'd walk in, they would prominently show pictures of fall colors. And I was asking why that is. And they explained to me that the fall color pictures that were on display were of Japan, and their number one selling um, pictures, and their number one clients were people from Japan that were coming to Hawaii and buying these beautiful pictures of the scenery that they'd have in their own country, but they're very mesmerized with the fall colors. And uh, a lot of people in Japan will take their holidays in the fall just to be able to tour around their country and experience fall colors in different regions. Much like in Ontario, you're not necessarily going to see fall colors everywhere, and much is going to depend on the weather. But we're bound to see fall colors with the amount of time that we're going to be in Japan. So we'll be flying to Tokyo. It's a direct flight, and there are some really nice advantages with that. You kind of get yourself settled, and hopefully you get some rest, enjoy some food on board, watch a couple movies, and you're there. So it certainly is the downfall of heading to Asia is the fact that we're a long ways away, but it's a big world, and even though we're going to the other side of the world, when you think about it, it really doesn't take that long to get there in the long run. Um, so we will be flying to Tokyo direct. The first day after we get there, you have some relaxing time before we have our dinner. We'll be staying at a lovely four-star property. The next day, we'll get to tour Tokyo and see some of the highlights. It definitely is a remarkable city. People flock to Tokyo from all over the world. A lot of people will come to Japan just for short hops and spend a few days in Tokyo. Very popular with all generations, but um, a lot of younger people will just travel for a few days. That's all that they can get off of work, and they'll travel long distances even from Canada, spend a few days in Tokyo and fly back again. Now, we have the advantage that we're going to be seeing Japan by cruise ship. And that is a huge advantage because it's home away from home. You'll get on board the Holland America Westerdam, you'll be able to unpack and get settled. Unlike a tour that is land program, where you're living out of your suitcase and you might be in hotels for 1 or 2 nights, and it's grueling. By the time you get done that tour, you're going to need another rest. It's nice that Japan has the opportunity to see it by cruise ship, and there are a number of people out there nowadays that spend a lot of time researching cruise ships, seeing who's on top, who isn't. And things have been changing a lot in the cruise industry. There's been a lot of cruise lines that have been sort of taking a lot of things away. And Holland America was one that was doing that for a while, but they realized that wasn't a good thing. And they sort of changed their philosophy. And when you investigate the ratings for cruise lines nowadays, and if you're looking at mainstream cruise lines like Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, the mainstream cruise lines out of North America, Holland America, a lot of researchers will say, is currently number one as far as a cruise line. They're doing things really well and they're getting a very loyal clientele. If I look at my family, my siblings and my mom, they travel on Holland America more than any other line. They just absolutely love the experience on Holland America. And I think you will too. The Westerdam is a nice mid-size ship. So not overly large, not overly small in the middle there. And we've included a package that includes an awful lot. So beverages, which is a nice little perk if you want a cocktail or wine at lunch or dinner. You'll have those opportunities. Some Wi-Fi, which is always wonderful, so you can stay on top of the news and stay in contact with your friends and family back home. Also includes a discount on that you can use towards some shore excursions, and some nice little perks along the way that they call it the have it all. So it's a nice advantage for sure to have, and very much in line with Travel with Bradley, because we like to include as much as we certainly can. So on the cruise, you're going to be visiting a number of wonderful ports, and I admit I'm not going to try to pronounce a lot of these names, but because I'll just slaughter them, let me tell you. But one thing that is wonderful about Japan, it's considered a very exotic destination, and it's considered very safe. It's very fascinating. And the fact that we're just not spending our time in Tokyo and maybe doing a couple of different destinations in Japan, the fact that we're on a cruise ship and seeing so many destinations, you'll get a wide variety of experiences, and you'll have the opportunity to do what you wish. So if you're a passenger that is just happy to get off a cruise ship and roam around some, get some pictures, there'll be those opportunities. If you're one that would like to book a shore excursion, there'll be a number of shore excursions that you'll want to consider. But I do really suggest that once you get booked, and I will come up with a list of shore excursions that I think you might want to consider, and you'll want to get those booked. The cruise will be sold out. It's a very, very popular time of the year to travel to Japan. The nice thing about being on the cruise ship, of course, is the fact that we will be going into a number of these different regions, and you'll have sort of the experience of Japan, but you'll have Western comfort when you're on the cruise ship. So it's sort of a win-win-win, and it's nice to be able to, after a day being out touring, to come home to your stateroom on board that you've set up the way that you like, and have the advantage to relax whenever you wish. If you are on a land program, you're going to be pretty exhausted probably by the end of it. And you're not going to be able to have the downtime like you can have on a cruise ship. If you want to shut your door in an afternoon and have a little nap, you're okay to do that. Where if you're on a land program, it's going to be a lot more difficult to do that, because you're going to be surrounded by folks all the time, your fellow passengers. So a nice way to travel, certainly an adventure during the day, and lots of relaxation by night. And you'll have the opportunity to either enjoy the entertainment on board, or have a rest earlier, have your dinner, and turn in for the evening. The choice will be yours. But we go to a number of different ports of call, and you'll have different experiences in the different ports. Like, one is really known for the geisha district, and that sort of lifestyle in Japan, sort of old world Japan meets modern elegance in a lot of these ports. Some of them are known for castles. You wouldn't imagine castles being in Japan, but there, of course, is. And the local markets, even if you're not one to enjoy shopping, it'll be nice just to grab a couple locally made souvenirs in some of the local markets that you'll find. Some of the ports that we're going to are not as famous as a place like Tokyo. They're less tourist oriented. That has the advantage of seeing the way a lot of local people actually live. It's nice to go into areas where you don't see a lot of tourists, because that way you get to experience life the way that it is for a number of people that live in Japan. Of course, there's a food culture in Japan, and in a few of the ports will be famous for certain things. Like, we'll be in a port that's really famous for its ramen. So if you're a ramen fan, maybe you'll want to go into a little local cafe and try their local flavors that they have there. We also have the advantage of going to one port of call in South Korea. So when you think about it, you're adding another country to this cruise. The reason that the cruise line does this is due to a law called the Jones Act that was put into effect many years ago, and but it is a nice advantage to be able to experience something a little bit different. So there will be one port of call that you'll go to that'll be in South Korea. There's some of the ports that we'll be visiting are very famous for their gardens, and of course the time of year we're going to be there, the gold leaf artistry is, of course, very popular. You'll get to see the countryside in some of these ports of call. The fresh seafood, of course, since we're in ports of call that are next to the water. Of course, fishing is a very popular career for a number of folks. And if you're brave and want to enjoy sushi. I'm not quite as brave as some people. My sushi always has to be cooked, but uh, you're not going to get anything that's any fresher. And you'll be in some areas where you're going to notice landscapes of very dramatic cliffs, of rugged coastlines. So when you're on a circle cruise of Japan, you're definitely going to have a number of experiences throughout the time that you'll be cruising. So you'll see the tranquil temples right up to exciting city like Tokyo. So Japan is certainly a bucket list destination, and you'll be traveling comfortably on board a cruise ship during a peak time of the year in the autumn for the fall colors, and also the comfortable touring weather, which is something that you just can't pass up. And the fact that you'll be looked after while you're away, not only by me, but the very wonderful staff on board the Westerdam. This will definitely be very much of a stress-free way to tour and see Japan. So if Japan is on your list of places to visit someday, this is probably the best way to do it. And as I said, we just have a small group of people that we're going to be able to take on this journey. And the itinerary will be up on the website. You can take a look at it, but definitely don't wait too long to make your decision. I can pretty much guarantee that this one will be sold out very, very quickly. So thank you for tuning in today. If you have any questions or you'd like to get yourself on the list of travelers, the Travel with Bradley team will be more than happy to look after you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's Bradley, and thank you for tuning in today to learn about the upcoming river cruise that Travel with Bradley is going to be offering. This one is November the 20th to the 28th of this year, and I'm excited about this. I recently had a group, and we were on a river cruise which sailed out of Dusseldorf, Germany. And first time on the Enjoy, as they call the riverboat. And of course, I was a little nervous being first time on board. You never really know exactly what to expect, but I had done all kinds of research. In fact, I contacted some folks that I know really well that are in the travel business in Germany to ask them about the vessel. And they said, "Have you not heard of the Enjoy?" They said, "You'll love it." So that assured me. And let me tell you, it was a marvelous experience. You may have received a newsletter that was recently sent out to our passengers. And on there had mentioned that we're going to be offering a riverboat cruise on this vessel once again. And I was thrilled to see that some of the folks that put their name on the interest list were the ones that sailed with me on this departure. And it just reassured me the fact that people just really loved the experience. The Enjoy is a new ship. It was built back in 2024, so it has the latest bells and whistles. I've been on so many river cruises over the years, and one thing that I liked about this ship was that it had a really unique design when it comes to the public areas. The public areas are on a couple different levels that are open air, not outside open air, inside open air, but it just really opened that part of the vessel and of course windows all the way down, and all that light just pouring in. And instead of just one big room, having it in a couple different sections kind of allowed a little bit of privacy almost, which is unheard of on a river cruise. It was just such a nice experience, kind of getting your spot there, being able to enjoy the scenery if you were sailing, or visiting with your friends, whether fellow passengers or new folks that you meet on board. So you probably haven't heard of the Enjoy before, because it's a German vessel. And it was great being on the German vessel. Everyone spoke English on board, all the staff, and the passengers too. You know, one thing when it comes to the Europeans, quite often they can speak a number of different languages, and you could tell that they were very fluent when it came to English. They treated us so well, and it was a nice experience. Quite often, when you go on a riverboat cruise, you're with a bunch of North Americans. We were the only North Americans on board the vessel, and the majority of the folks were German. In fact, the majority of the folks were from Dusseldorf, and they were coming on for a holiday, and they loved the idea because they didn't have to fly anywhere. They were able to get on the riverboat, and for them, they had been to the ports that we went to many, many times because they're in their backyard. But they loved the vessel. In fact, I talked to some folks on board that had already been on the vessel a number of times, that they were such fans of it. The staterooms are very nice. You have to remember, on any riverboat cruise, staterooms are small, but they're designed really, really well. The bedding was really nice, comfortable mattresses. We include the French balcony staterooms, which are lovely because you have, don't get excited, there's no actual balcony, but you have this sliding glass door that opens, and you can get, I was opening it all the time to get pictures, to get a little bit of fresh air, and it's just really nice to have it. And it really opens the space up. You walk into the room and you're looking straight ahead and you just see scenery. Very, very nice. And it's a television, of course. There's a little fridge that's stocked with some items that you can help yourself with. And that's complimentary. They have some really cool ideas, like they give you a little water bottle, and they have water stations on board the vessel. So you'd see people filling their water bottles before going ashore, and a great idea. It's also nice that there are 3 restaurants on board, the main dining room, and then there was what's called the bistro, which was more North American food, and also an Italian restaurant on board. The main restaurant is where most people head for breakfast, but there are 2 restaurants that serve breakfast in the morning, which is nice. And a breakfast and lunch and dinner are all served in the main dining room. The bistro and the Italian restaurant also serve lunch and dinner. Now, in the main dining room, the menus change daily. In the bistro and the Italian restaurant, the menus stay the same, but they're different for lunch and dinner. I really enjoyed the specialty restaurants, and the cruise manager was very kind to me and allowed our group to have reservations for evening meal in both the Italian and the bistro restaurant. Everyone really enjoyed it. So when it comes to the main dining room, there's for lunch and breakfast, there is sort of a buffet area where you can help yourself with all kinds of wonderful culinary creations. And there's also a menu. So you can order Let's say it's breakfast. You help yourself with all the items that are on the buffet. And if you want eggs Benedict or an omelet or waffles, something like that, you order that with the server and that's brought to your table. Same thing for lunch in the main dining room. You can go to the middle section where there's all the food that you help yourself with and lots of salads, some hot items, pasta station, all kinds of things like that. And then they have menu items. So you can go up, help yourself with the buffet area and then order a menu item. Now for dinner in the main dining room, it's all menu and everyone loved the food. There was no problem with the food. And one thing that I always appreciate that you don't quite often find on a riverboat cruise is things like when the soup came out, it was piping hot. The food was always piping hot, beautifully presented. Really, really good. I can tell you that the Enjoy certainly was enjoyable when it came to the cuisine and certainly on par, if not better, than any river cruise line that I've been on in the past. And you know, a number of you have been with me on many cruise lines over the years when it comes to the rivers. So I was very, very impressed with the main dining room. Same thing with the two alternative dining rooms. So the bistro for lunch, it's a little bit more casual. So if you're looking for a homemade burger, and it is a homemade patty, everyone really enjoyed that. Fish and chips, those kind of items in the bistro. In the evening, the menu is more elevated, so you could get a steak in there in the evening. The Italian restaurant for lunch, really big menu and a little antipasta area with all kinds of things you could help yourself with. Same thing in the evening, another antipasta area and menu items that were a little bit more elevated in the evening. One thing that's really nice too on the Enjoy, your beverages are included. So if you wish a cocktail, wine, whatever, it's included. And I find with a lot of river cruise companies, it's not. You maybe get wine for lunch or dinner. There might be a happy hour where you'd be able to get a complimentary beverage for 1 hour of the day on the Enjoy. No issues at all. You can get whatever you wish. They have a really nice menu with all kinds of items, but I'll tell you, our group sometimes had cocktails requests that they never heard of before. But the bartender that was on board was more than willing to make whatever. And they were so accommodating. The staff was so wonderful. Entertainment on board. It was nice. There was an excellent piano player singer. There was also a small production team on board that put on a real variety show for 2 of the evenings. And there was also a dance party night where they brought on a DJ and people were out dancing. I'll tell you, our passengers had a marvelous time. I think they were closing that lounge most nights. And they were up dancing, really taking in all the entertainment every evening. Was really a great time for them. Now, one thing I love to do when I'm on a river cruise, especially when there's the French balcony windows or the doors that you can open, is in the evening, I love to just sit in my room or lay on my bed and look out and just take in the atmosphere on the river. On this sailing that we're going to be doing in November, we'll be on the Danube. Very, very active river with so many barges. Like, it's astronomical, the number of barge traffic. It's almost like being on the 401 with the transport trucks, but you're on the river and you have all these barges just passing you constantly. We went through a number of locks. I leave my drapes open in the evening. Just even if I wake up for a bit, I can watch that traffic go by in the evening. And it's kind of neat because you see, of course, all the lights are on in the barges, and you can see the living quarters really well of and how the people live. And of course, when you're sailing along on the river and it's during the day, you see people out having a stroll. People are out quite often waving at the riverboat as it goes by. It's a very, very nice experience. So there's also a small fitness area on board, a small pool. I call it kind of an oversized jacuzzi. It's somewhere in between size of a pool, size of a jacuzzi. But it's nice that they have that on board too. A few of our passengers uh, went and used that during the sailing. So, as far as a river cruise vessel goes, I don't think you'd want uh, you wouldn't expect anything more. It really delivers on all levels, and everyone was so pleased. So, when I was sailing after a couple days, of course, I knew this was a great product, and I had a conversation with the cruise director on board. As I said, she was wonderful, and asked her, I said, I'd really like to try to get another departure on this vessel sometime this year. I said, I know it's not going to be easy to get space, and she agreed. But I said to her, what would you recommend? And she actually was the one that recommended this departure. So we are heading out, as I said, on November the 20th. We will fly into Vienna, Austria. Beautiful, beautiful city any time of the year. I know a number of you have been to Vienna. I've been many times, and every time I go, it impresses me more than the last time I was there. And we have the bonus of when we are going to be on this cruise that we're at the beginning of the festive season. So Vienna will be decorated to the nines. There will also be a number of Christmas markets that will already be open in Vienna. So a nice bonus for sure. So we're going to fly into Vienna. It's a direct flight, which is another nice bonus. And we will get into Vienna. We will meet a local guide, and we will go to one of the famous palaces in Vienna and have a tour and just really be in awe of the beauty of the place. We'll have a little bit of time at a Christmas market that's at this palace, and we'll then head for lunch. Afterwards, I know it's, always first day of travel is a tiring one. So I know that you'll want to get into the hotel, and we'll get you in the hotel as soon as we can. And then you'll have the option of going for a stroll. First of all, our hotel is stunningly beautiful, and it certainly has that Vienna look. You'll kind of go, wow, when we pull up. And it's in a great location. So very easy to go for a stroll, not too far from some Christmas markets too, if you wish to head to some of them. Now, one thing when it comes to Christmas markets, I've heard from some passengers that say, oh, I don't know whether I'm into Christmas markets or not. I'm not a shopper. Let me explain. You don't need to be a shopper to enjoy a Christmas market. This is a local event that brings not only tourists, but the locals just flock to these markets. It's just fun to mingle with the locals, see the local foods that they're enjoying, maybe purchase yourself a mug of the Gruline, or how I probably have pronounced that wrong, but the spiced a wine, and usually get to keep the mug, so it's a nice little souvenir. You can see some of the handicraft products that are being offered. maybe pick up a souvenir to remember the trip. But it's just a nice experience. You kind of go into these, quite often they'll be in the town squares, take in the beauty of the place, the lights, the atmosphere. It's a wonderful time of the year to travel. So you'll have the option to, if you wish, to head out and explore a little bit. The following morning, we will go to one of the famous Viennese cafes. And I always sort of chuckle because when I'm dealing with tour guides, and I explain to them what I want to happen during a tour. If we're in Europe and we're somewhere where there's these marvelous cafes, I'll always say I want to include that. So I want our passengers to be able to go in, explore, enjoy the beautiful surroundings, sit there, have a cup of coffee or tea, and a really nice homemade pastry from the area. And I'm always surprised how many tour guides will say to me, I never thought of that before. That's such a great idea. And I'll say, well, as a local person, do you not go to these cafes and really enjoy them? They say, of course. Well, I'll always say, well, I want our passengers to experience that too. Of course, we flock to Tim Hortons and our modern sort of coffee places. But my goodness, when you're in a place like Vienna, you want to experience the beauty of these incredible cafes. So we're going to do that. And we're also going to have a walking tour, and you'll get to see some of the marvelous downtown sites in Vienna. And let me tell you, if you haven't been before, it really is a marvelous place to be. We'll have lunch, and then we will go and board the Enjoy. And they will be anxiously waiting for us. You'll get settled in your cabin for a 4-night sailing. And the cruise that I just came off of was also a 4-night sailing. And, it was a great length of time to be on board. We got to see some marvelous spots, and it felt like home. It felt like we were on that vessel for a lot longer than 4 nights, let me tell you. So the itinerary, where are we going? Well, we, first of all, we go into a town that's called Vac, V-A-C. And it's in Hungary. If you look it up, you'll see it's stunningly beautiful. We're only there for a couple of hours. And it'll be a place that you'll just get off the riverboat and just go and explore. Head to the main square, take some pictures, admire the beauty of the spot. Then you'll be getting back on board the vessel and heading to Budapest. Budapest is a marvelous city and great this time of year too, because their Christmas markets will be in operation. We'll be including a tour when we're in Budapest. It'll be a tour that you'll be able to explore and see what there is in that marvelous city, and I can guarantee you'll be very, very impressed. You will have some time because we are in Budapest overnight, and so you'll have plenty of time to explore even after dinner on board the Enjoy. If you want to go for a stroll and enjoy the evening lights of Budapest, you'll be amazed with that. So we are in Budapest on the 23rd and the 24th, and on the 25th of November we are in Bratislava, and which is part of Slovenia. Another breathtaking city to visit, and we'll also be including a tour when it comes to Bratislava. So you'll be able to enjoy that. Then we'll be back in Vienna. We're going to spend another evening in Vienna. It's sort of a nice bonus. And to be quite honest, I haven't confirmed everything we're going to do that day. I want to give you some time, if available, to have some free time, but I would like us to get into the countryside if possible, just to get out of Vienna a little ways and take in the beautiful scenery. Of course, we're on the, we could drive down past the Danube and just sort of enjoy and take in a little bit of the countryside. That's my current plan anyway for that day. We'll have a lunch, of course, farewell dinner. Then on the 27th, we will be flying back to Toronto. And we include always with Travel with Bradley a package that includes your parking for when you're away and an overnight stay at a hotel at the airport. That'll be on November 27th. And on the 28th, you can get up at your leisure and head back home. So it's a nice time of year to be going because it's sort of before you really get busy at home with all the festive events and everything you want to attend. And a nice time to be traveling because not only will be sort of ahead of the real rush of travelers that'll be heading to these destinations. Once December hits, it gets much busier, and it'll still probably be busy, let me tell you, but certainly not a peak being busy. So that'll be a nice advantage too. I can vouch you're on a beautiful vessel. You will love Vienna. I think you'll really enjoy this river cruise if you decide to travel with us. I'll tell you, on the last river cruise I did, there was a couple that have traveled with me a few times over the years. And I sat down with them one evening and they said to me, we're loving this experience and this might be our favorite way to travel going forward. Once people have been on a river cruise, they just like the casual, relaxed atmosphere. One thing on the Enjoy, there's no dress up evening or whatever. People would always look nice, but it's not like you have to worry about packing a lot of clothes, a lot of dress up clothes to be on this vessel. So give it some thought, but I expect, like so many Travel with Bradley journeys, space fills very quickly. So don't wait too long before you make your decision. And hope to see you on the Enjoy in November. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and you'll find the itinerary on the Travel with Bradley website. If you have any questions, if you'd like to reserve, the Travel with Bradley team will be more than happy to look after you. Take care, everyone.